attention, so I don't need a compliment. I'm giving knowledge, get this or get that, just telling you. Hit me up, I got you when I get back on the scene. You can see it, you can reach me in the DM. I've been moving out and working, been on before the DM. In the mornings, never tired, lazy niggas, I can be them. I know the odds are against me. They ain't seeing what I'm seeing, they ain't seeing what I'm seeing, they ain't seeing what I'm seeing.
Get up in here.
They ain't seeing what I'm seeing, they ain't seeing what I'm seeing, they ain't seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Get up in here. I need some attention. I need some attention. It's Sunday. I'm a little bit late today, but I'm always on time. I'm always on time. I'm always on time. How y'all doing today? Yeah. The saint is here. Get up in here. I'm gonna light this up. Let's see. For those of you who do not know who I am, you just got in here, happened up in here. I don't know, you don't know how you got here, why you in here. I am the Poet Saint. I am a motivational speaker, life coach who coaches self-mastery through one's personal birth chart, as well as a published author. I am making these videos just because this is my way of giving back and just talking, right? Because people be needing something to think about besides they stinking thinking. And so this is my way of giving people something else to think about through the week. And so I make these videos Sunday afternoons, and you can catch me here live pretty much every Sunday. I'm amazing. How are you? I'm doing amazing because God is good, right? God is good, and so I'm great, and I'm always doing amazing. Like it's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. Get up in here. Excuse the echo. I'm still waiting on so you know what I'm saying to finish this project out, but y'all gonna see it soon. Nonetheless, today's video is the perception of you true. Yeah. Let's go. This is gonna be fun to unpack here. And I'm gonna tell y'all how I got on this one. Get up in here, Doug. Get up in here. Get up in here. Yes, indeed. So, what I am asking you is the perception of you true. Now, when I say the perception of you, okay, I'm not just asking about the external perception, albeit I am talking about that perception too. But more so important, y'all know me, I'm all about the self. You gotta master yourself. Is your perception of you true? Yeah. Let's go! Sunday afternoon. I hope y'all got y'all tea, whatever y'all need. Get some pen and some paper, write this down because y'all gonna do some accountability checks this week. This week, we're gonna do some accountability checks so that we can understand if the perception of us is true. Okay, the perception. What is the perception? Perception is how you are being perceived, okay? And so what people perceive of you or what you perceive of yourself, is it true? All right? Yeah. Is it the real deal or is it imitation? Yeah. Is your mask authentically you? Or are you presenting a representative to everybody and so you're perceived in a way that is not naturally you, right? So let's unpack this. Y'all know I'm going to start with myself. Why? Because, hey, I got to start with myself. I'm telling all of this from me, the perspective of me, okay? My own experiences and all that led to me getting up out of hell because I was sick of it. All of it. I was sick of it, okay? So, perception. I have been perceived by others to be mean. Okay, mean. That's a perception. People perceive me to be mean. Okay, and so their perception of me is that that's a mean motherfucker. Man, she mean, y'all. She gonna cut you down and leave her alone. Yeah, that's a perception, right? And so when people perceive us a way, we might take on what people perceive, which distorts our perception of ourselves. Now, for me, I be mean in business, but I'm not a mean person, okay? So, is the perception of me true? No, that would be a misperception, okay? And so sometimes people have a misperception of you. And we will play into these misperceptions too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people will be like, you mean, or you want me to be mean to you? I'm going to be mean to you. I'm going to show you what mean really is. I don't know. That's me. I'm an Aries. I'm going to tell you right now. And I get in my ego, I'm hell. Okay, so I'm mean. Okay, I will be mean to you. If you didn't accept my niceness, you didn't accept my kindness, wasn't all of that, you wanted to perceive me as mean, then I'm going to be mean. Okay? But is that truly the highest representation of myself? Honestly, no, because I'm not mean. I'm very emotionally like a softie, right? I'm just like a little mush, like a little mushroom. You know, I'm not a mushroom. I must need some mushrooms, like a marshmallow. Anyway, so the perception of you, is it true? How people perceive you, is it your authentic self? Because some people may perceive you in a way that internally doesn't match what you are. And how often do we take on what other people perceive us to be? Thank you. How do I say your name? Rady. Yuri. Thank you. Yes. Everybody better repent. Because the time coming, darkness is coming. That's why you need the perception of you to align up with the true you. And see, the true you is how God sees you. I made a short a few days ago, how God sees me, right? People will see you all kind of ways. Here's the thing with people and how they see you. People see you based on their level of understanding of you. And when their level of understanding of you is limited, they will project upon you based upon their understanding of self. Okay? So this is why, like, I'm a very honest person. I'm just blunt and honest. I just tell the truth. I don't really care. If you ask me, you're going to get the truth. And I'm not going to tell you the truth. I just to tell you I'm not telling you that. Right? But nonetheless, some people look at you, you can tell them the absolute truth, and they'll look at you and be like, you're a liar. That's a lie. Now, if you, especially on this spiritual journey, if you having like spiritual encounters and stuff, right, that you already kind of questioning yourself, like you seen the little person run across the room, you know what I'm saying, and then while it was running across the room, it gave you a message, and now you tell somebody else, and they like, oh, you lying. And you know, and so now you can start to perceive that maybe it is a lie, maybe I made this up. But is that the truth? Or was you intuitively heightened enough to be able to see something in another dimension present itself here and say that? But then the person who couldn't see it, who didn't have the experience, they cannot perceive what you're saying, so they cannot believe what you're saying, and so their perception will be misperceived. Yeah, they be like, oh, they crazy, they was smoking that weed. They was smoking that weed, they high, they don't know what they're talking about, you know. So the perception, is the perception of you true? If it's not, how do you get it in alignment, right? We're going to talk about that. But right now, let's unpack different ways the perception of you could be untrue, okay? Because this is my favorite one. I'm an Aries. This people's favorite about Aries. They say Aries are impatient. That's a misperception. It's truly a misperception. Now, the truth is that Aries are very patient with other people. Okay? Now, you will be misperceived as impatient when you lose your patience with a motherfucker. You done been patient, and they just ain't getting it right, and so now you done snap, and now they like, oh my God, you wasn't patient with me, and you gotta let me, you know, learn at my pace. Well, if it's taking you 9,000 times to get something that should have been got like by a fifth grader on the third try, then yeah, I might lose my patience with you. But the misperception builds up this internal complex of, well, I need to be more patient with people. And so then sometimes Aries people will take more than they should from a person because they are perceiving themselves to be impatient. Well, the perception is not true. But if you are operating in the misperception, that, oh, I'm not patient, I don't give people enough time, or I don't give people enough tries, or whatever it may be, then you will alter yourself to fit someone's misperception. So now guess what? The perception of you is not true. The perception of you should always be in alignment with God and how God sees you. How did God send you here? Because at the end of the day, no one's perception of you truly matters except for God. So if God can't perceive you because you've been down here taking on other people's ideations of you, oh, well, you're aggressive, or you're mean, or you're this, or you're that, or whatever it is that people assign to you because of their perception. If you take it on, your perception will not be true, internally or externally. And so here's the thing. We live in a world where everybody's projecting something, okay? I'm manifesting, so they're projecting. I'm thinking, projecting. I'm creating, projecting. I am whatever, okay? And so when people are projecting onto you, it's important that you are able to say, that's not me. The other day, I was talking to my aunt, and for those of you who don't know, I just published my 3rd publication. Yes, I'm proud of myself. And so when I said that to her, she said, oh man, I'm so proud of you and everything. She said, I never would have saw this. I saw you as such an angry child. Like, I just always thought you were so angry. Thing was, I was never really angry. Now, I would defend myself, but I've never been an angry person. I'm an Aries. Aries people aren't angry. They don't have the energy to fester there. Okay, now they might pop off on you. Okay, they might check you. They might, you know what I'm saying, but they don't be angry. They're not angry. They're expressing in the moment what they feel. So if they say, you're getting on my nerves, you're getting on their nerves. They're not angry, you're getting on their nerves. Now, the thing is, most people don't have the emotional intelligence to say, hey, right now you're agitating me and you should probably stop talking to me because it's about to get bad. Okay, most people don't have that. They just know to be angry because they don't have nothing else to assign to it. Or, you know, right now you really, you know, annoying. Oh, I said that. Right now, because that's what it be for Aries. People be annoying me. Like, just stop. Just stop. Okay, cut it. Don't annoy me. Okay. But when you find yourself acting out of alignment with your own self and your own internal truth, okay, this is when it gets dirty, because you have to take self-accountability and say, hey, listen, I am not acting in my highest self because I am trying to fit this narrative, that narrative in with this situation or circumstance, or this person's idea of me, or this person's projections upon me. But when you are yourself, you have to say, no, that's not me. I was never that. Now, what you'll find is most people will say, I mean, I didn't mean it like that. Well, no, you said it, and that's how you perceived me, and that's okay, because I am often misperceived. Okay, and so I'm okay with that. But I will stand in my truth. You have to stand in the truth of who you are. If you are this way, so let's say you're trying to be helpful to someone, but they have misperceived your help as criticism. Okay, now it's okay to say, hey, listen, I wasn't looking to criticize you, I was merely looking to help you. But you cannot change their perception. If they perceived it as criticism, that merely meant that they were not open to your help. It doesn't mean that you change your helping ways to become accustomed to what someone else has perceived. No. Okay, this is where a lot of us go flatline, because we're trying to be what someone else is perceiving us to be versus what we are. And if you're not being what you are, then that means that your perception of self is distorted. And therefore you can't be mad when everyone else is misperceiving you. Because if you're not being your authentic self, then people can perceive you as you're showing up. So if you're showing up angry, but in reality you're just sad, then you can't be upset when people perceive you as angry. If you are disappointed, but you're showing up as vengeful, the perception, but that's because we're not being our true self. Okay, so if I'm not being my true self, so I don't like to waste time. Right? I don't like to waste time. I don't got no time to waste. I don't got time for people's nonsense and BS or nothing, right? So let's say that I let a person waste my time. What will typically happen is when I'm sick of them wasting my time, which I wasn't already enthused by from the beginning, right? And so instead of me saying, you know what, I really don't have time for this today, I don't want to be rude or whatever, or perceived as being mean or whatever, so I make space for it. What I found is after time, no, I do become mean. Because now I'm like, you know, just shut the fuck up because you're stupid. Like, what you saying is stupid. Did I make it to 10 minutes? Okay. What you saying is stupid, you're being stupid, and so, you know, now I'm mean. But had I said what I meant from the beginning, I don't have time for this. Now I'm not being mean. Okay, I never make it to the point of being mean. But if I leave space to be misperceived because I am misrepresenting myself, because I'm misperceiving myself, because it's healthy to say I don't have time. But if I misperceive myself as being impatient or unkind or unthoughtful or not being, you know, open to someone, and so I make that space, now I've compromised myself, and in that compromise, I can open myself up to be what? Misperceived. And so, is the perception of you true? If the perception of you is not true, then this is where dirty work has to get started. For me, if you follow me over from Facebook, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I remember somebody wrote me an 18-page letter, right? And this person in this 18-page letter, they was reading me the riot act about all of my behaviors and things that I had presented to the person. Now, this person was not a lover or a family member or anyone. It was just someone who was acquainted to me. And so when I read it, right, a lot of it, yeah, I'm that. Okay, I'm an Aries. I'm an asshole. Okay, I am aggressive. I'm assertive. I am forward. I am bold. I am blunt. I am fearless. I am tactless in some situations. I can be downright just, okay. And so those things I liked about myself. And I had no interest in changing them, but there was things in there that she wrote that were not really how I intended to be perceived. So those things over time, I kept this 18-page letter for years. And I would go back to it and look at it and see different ways that I showed up for people, you know, different conversations I had or different encounters that I had with people. And I would look at those in retrospect and see different versions of me showing up and how I was presenting in ways that were not, okay, how I personally perceived myself. And so I would think I was being nice or helpful or kind or, you know, giving advice or whatever, but in fact, I would be being demeaning or belittling or subjective or dismissive of other people. And so there became a need for me to look at that. Okay, and so when I say this to you, I'm not just saying in nasty ways, because sometimes, you know, we can be perceived as very loving people when in fact we are emotionally unintelligent. Okay, but we come across that way. However, if somebody gets too emotionally close to us, then we throw up all of these defenses and stuff because we are not emotionally open. You understand that? I hope that makes sense to somebody somewhere in the y'all piecing this together, right? Because the perception of you must be the authentic version of you. But a lot of us are unaware of the authentic version of ourselves, right? We don't even know what that is. I got gray hair, and this is driving me crazy looking at it. But the authentic version of ourselves is not often what people are getting. And so, are they misperceiving you? Are you showing up in a way that is defensive of your true self? And so people are misperceiving you because what you're presenting to them is not truly you, but rather a defense mechanism. Are people having to navigate through your defenses to get to who you are and thereby constantly misunderstanding you? This is important because we will say that our relationships or people we are relating to, be it in familial relationships, co-worker relationships, love relationships, sibling relationships, our relationships with our children, our relationships with our community, how we are showing up there, people can be perceiving us. Let's say internally you are struggling with an emotional battle, okay? And so you may be missing a loved one. And externally, you are presenting this tough core, like everything's okay, and you're just moving on because you have that strength. So now people will perceive you as strong. But the truth is that you are weak on the inside and you are falling apart on the inside. And so when you have to keep up with this perception, you will overcompensate. This means overgive of your time, overgive of your resources, overgive of your thoughts and advice or input on things because you are seeking to cover up the weaker parts or what you have deemed to be weak in you. And so are people properly perceiving you when they say, oh my God, such and such is so strong, they're dealing with the loss of this or that in such a heroic way, I wish I had that. And in reality, you're falling apart. Because see, here's the thing. When we do this and we give people a perception of us that is not true, we rob ourselves of the ability for people to support us and help to strengthen our weaknesses. When we hide our weaknesses or perceived weaknesses, we rob ourselves of the ability of others who love us to help strengthen that thing into, or help bring us to the strength in that thing. Right? So, is the perception of you true? You know, I talked a couple weeks ago about, I got a little woozy. I talked a couple weeks ago about if people could see your heart and your thoughts, would they see beauty? You know, if people could see your internal struggles, would you still be strong? Or are you only strong because you're working so hard to cover up your weaknesses? I'm the Police Saint, and I hope that this is helping somebody somewhere to take a critical look at yourself and understand that how people perceive you is very important that it is true. Because if not, you're ultimately robbing yourself of the greatest experience. Like a lot of people, you know, pretend they're strong, like they, you know what I'm saying? Or they here you go, the jokester, right? The jokester who got all of the jokes, but then they end up taking themselves out, right? Was the perception of them true? Oh man, they're just so funny. Or were they funny because funny was the strength that they had to cover up their perceived weakness of not being able to get beyond loss or lack or insecurities or doubt or shame or fear, right? And so sometimes we can be so caught up in how people perceive us that we will misrepresent ourselves so that we stay cool, you know what I'm saying? So that we stay fly, so that we stay smart, so that we stay healthy, so that we stay whole, so that we stay, you know, but is that our internal self? And if it's not, then the answer to a few weeks ago is if people actually saw, you know, what was in your heart and your thoughts, would they be looking at beauty? Or would it be a conglomerate of confusion? Would they see the prison that you have yourself trapped in? You know, because you want to be so strong, so smart, so liked. Right? I always say, I can care less what somebody else think about me. I honestly can. Like, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all support. I appreciate y'all, you know, thinking. But here's the thing. I can't be moved by praise or criticism because humans are flaky, right? I only care about how God perceives me. If God is perceiving me in right behavior, I know because I'm getting right reward. Everything else becomes secondary to unnecessary. And so if you are putting on for external forces and how people perceive you, I want to be seen as successful. I want to be seen as fly. I want to be seen as this. But in reality, you got something else going on. Ultimately, it leads to chaos. A lot of it. And there, you cannot get happiness. There's no peace in chaos. I don't care what you say. There's no peace besides the peace that's coming off your lying lips. I'm at peace. Okay. Okay. If your internal self ain't lining up with your external self, it's not peace. Okay, so if you turn on the video and you say, "Oh, I'm happy, I'm living a fly life and everything," you know what I'm saying? But in reality, when the camera go off, you depressed, you sad, you in doubt, you in fear, you in worry. You ain't robbing nobody but you. So it's always best to present your true self in every situation. And when people don't accept your true you, just move accordingly. It's okay. Because some people, they need the broken version of you. Some people need the version of you that they perceive you to be because that's what makes them comfortable. I made a post today. My truth, okay, was worth being uncomfortable. It definitely was. And so is yours. Every person's truth is worth the uncomfortable. So if you are truly sad and heartbroken, it's okay to say that and own that because it's your truth. And if you stand in it, you will find strength in it. See, I found strength in standing in my truth. But I found a lot of weakness. I was just weakened to the point of shame, sorrow, doubt, fear, regret, just apathy, resentment, disappointment, everything in the space of trying to be strong. So when I wouldn't say, hey, you're treating me this way and I need this, I would just accept it. I was weakening myself. Okay, weakening to myself to the point where I would have outbursts. I would have random just meltdowns because I just took all I can take today, and today just the sun didn't shine the right way, and now the bubbles popped and now Tasmanian devil. And so we all express this in different ways. But the moment I was able to say, hey, you're doing this, and I don't like that because it makes me feel like this, and people continue to do it, it gave me the power to say, you know what, nah, these ain't my people. I can't be around these people because I can't act like I don't feel that so that you can be comfortable. I can't act like I don't think this so that you can be all right with me. Choosing my journey took a whole lot of, recognizing that I had to disconnect from people's perception of me. Okay, my one cousin, she thought I had totally lost my mind. She made a whole Facebook post, put me all on the internet, told all my cousins to come and get me. Like, this fool done lost it, she need help. But I've had people say, oh, my aunt, she said, I just perceived you as listening to the wrong people. But I've never been a person to listen to people like that. Yeah, I talk to people and I have understanding of different people's experiences and awarenesses, but I've never adopted other people's truth as my own. Okay, because I can feel my truth. I can feel it. You can feel your truth. And when you are not living your perception isn't true, you feel uncomfortable. Your highs be high and your lows be low. You can have a high and 5 minutes is low because the perception is off. But when everything is balanced and everything is in accordance and you being your true authentic self, you expressing your truth, you living your truth, you feel liberated, you feel free. You're able to create things, you're able to acquire things, you're able to grow, you're able to blossom. You feel alive. Okay, and that's the whole point of this journey, is to feel alive. And so make sure that the perception of you is true. I had a conversation earlier today with someone who was asking me a question, and I kind of It led to the perception, right? Because here's the thing: sometimes people's perception of someone else can alter your perception of them, just like people's perception of you will alter your perception of yourself. Okay, so here you go. You perceive yourself as successful, a winner, a dreamer. You got big plans. But then your grandma, whose perception of you is just her little grandson or granddaughter, her daughter's child and her son's child, and you just no idea. You talk about, I'm about to be the next Jay-Z, okay? And she's like, yeah, baby, it's only one Jay-Z, ain't no. And so you perceive that you cannot do this, and there's slow seeds that start to take hold in you and root up, okay? And now you doubt, and maybe yeah, because I can't rap like that, so now you get imposter syndrome, or now I can't, I don't got the resources for that, nobody who gonna buy my music, who gonna like it. These seeds of doubt are planted, and this distorts what? Your perception of yourself. Because you saw yourself as a winner. You saw yourself as the next Jay-Z. You saw yourself as the next champion of the world in some capacity. You saw yourself as the next best-selling author. Or you saw yourself as the next great philosopher. Whatever it is, there are people around you who will take that out of you because of their perception of you. Okay? And when people have a perception of you, they expect you to fit into that. But the thing is, for you, the person, you, is it true? Is it true? I have people say to me all kinds of things that are not true. They're not a true perception of me. Now, it may be their perception. Okay, like I said, hey, I might say something mean to a person. Now, my intention might be to invoke inspiration in the person. For the person who wasn't ready to be inspired, it would feel like I was belittling them. So is the perception true, right? And then if I stop, I ain't gonna tell nobody nothing else because I don't want to be perceived as being mean. Well, no, I just needed to learn to talk to people who was ready for what I was talking about versus trying to give to people because I love them. Okay, because you can be giving somebody something with the purest intention. You got the purest intention ever, it's gold. And if that person is not ready to receive what you're giving, it will be misperceived. So is the perception of you true? When people misperceive you, okay, it's important for you to make space between you and those people. Don't sit and try to battle and argue with them and change their perception of you. Accept that is their perception based upon their experience, and if it is not one that is a true representation of yourself, then you have to move accordingly, whatever that accordingly is for you. So, is the perception of you true? How others perceive you? Do you come across as stoic and mean, but really like a gleeful little child? Are you a person who is like really sociable, but you present as someone who is introverted because you have found that you aren't socially accepted? The perception of you, is it true? This is important because throughout this journey, there will be all kinds of perceptions of you that will be projected upon you. And it's important to know yourself so that you can always stand in your truth and perceive yourself with the ability to be aware. Because sometimes you might be misperceiving. So let's say you thought you was being nice, but they felt like you was being nasty. Okay, how did that happen? Was it the choice of words that I used? Was it the look on my face? Did I laugh at her? Like a lot of people talking to me, I laugh a lot, right? And so a lot of people can misperceive that. But laughter is a weapon. I just laugh because we funny, right? It's just be funny. Not that I'm laughing at people. I just laugh because it's funny. Like, you know, you might say something and I might relate to something you say, or I just crack a lot of jokes too. Like I'm a comedian. So, but for someone misperceiving that, they're like, "Oh, you laughing at me?" Well, I could try to not laugh, but then I would not be being my authentic self. So I can stop talking to that person because I won't keep laughing. Like I can't stop. Like it's funny. It's funny. I mean, yeah, funny is funny. Okay, who doesn't laugh at funny? And I might see it from a different perspective. Okay, this is a good one. A lot of my clients, all of my clients will tell you I'll be laughing. Like I'll be laughing. I'll be laughing. They be laughing too. I had a client just cuss me out earlier. She said I almost made her choke. But because truth is comedy. Truth is comedy. Only people ain't laughing is the ones that like lies. They don't want you. You know, they don't want the lie coming out. Lie. Okay, so but truth is comedy. Okay, the greatest comedians are just telling truth because truth is comedy. So laughter is a great thing, but people who see it as, oh, you're laughing at me, but they're probably not ready to receive what I'm saying because I'm laughing because I'm seeing it from a different perspective than what is being presented to me. So let's say, you know, you go out on the date order, you know, vegetable tacos and wanted to be a vegan. You wanted to eat cow tacos, but you ain't want to, you know what I'm saying? I'ma laugh. Like, oh, so you ate the vegan tacos and was hungry, you know, because why? You wanted to show off, right? But if the person who is not ready to hear that and see that in themselves, they'll be like, oh, so you laughing at me. No, I'm really laughing because of the perspective that I see this from, right? Not that I'm laughing at you. But if the perception, okay, if the perception is not true, remember you can't change somebody's perception of you, okay? But they can alter your perception of yourself. So, if the perception of you is true, you're being your authentic self, there's never a need to alter or change yourself because God knows you, your heart, the true you, not how you're being perceived outside, not how you tell yourself to perceive yourself inside, but the true you. And if you're in that essence, that's where right behavior and right reward is. That's where your happiness is. That's where all of your abundance is. That's where all of your growth and all of your expansion and all of the things that you dream of are in that space of you being your authentic self. Because see, the things that you desire come from your soul, which is your authentic self. Okay, it doesn't know nothing about all of that other stuff. It just knows what it knows. It wants what it wants. It does what it does. Right? It desires what it desires. But our mind can be shifted. It can be altered. It can be changed. It can be molded. It can be pruned. It can be shaped. We can have thoughts embedded in us that are not our own thoughts, and we will adopt them as our own because we don't even know why. So, if the perception of you is not true, it's time to do some dirty work. Start looking. So somebody say, you man, you this. Okay, don't mean that they telling the truth. Don't mean that it's real, but it is necessary for you to take a moment to say, how did I show up here? How did I express? How could that have been perceived in this way? Did I mean to express my emotions, but instead I expressed my thoughts? Or vice versa? Did I pose a defense instead of be open to, you see, you got to understand that stuff about you. But if you don't understand it about you, you can't understand it about nobody else because all you will do is understand people at the same capacity that you can understand yourself. I'm the police saint, and this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. As long as this thing keeps spinning, twisting, or turning, whatever it's doing, I have to tell you the truth when I turn this thing on, and that's what I'm going to do. If you are struggling with understanding what is your true self, you, not how other people perceive you, who you is for you, with you, to you, then you can go ahead and go to my website and book an appointment over there to do some self-mastery classes, and let's unpack it and get you to the greatest version of yourself. Because if your external perception is not the same as your internal perception, there must be some balance. Does not mean that you have to change things about yourself, because let's say you're an assertive person. Assertive people have the power to be assertive because they are here on the planet to get things done. Okay, so that's like you have the motor in your motor to move forward in things. And then you have people here who are passive people, and their job is to kind of wait for things to get done. So if you got a passive person telling you how aggressive you are, not assertive, aggressive you are, and how they don't like it, and you are molding and shaping yourself to fit them, then guess what? You're going to always be sinning. What's sin? Missing the mark. What's the mark? Your North Node. That's your highest self. That's your life purpose. That's what you're here for. Everything else is what? Secondary to unnecessary. And you can take whatever route you want to take to get there, but we all got to get there. If not, you just stay on the wheel of incarnation, and I feel sorry for you, son. Yeah, because the day of darkness is on the way, and if you don't have your light, meaning you are in your what? Original form, in your true body, in that which God sent here on this planet, then guess what? I love y'all. I hope that this message helps somebody somewhere to remember that you are a bad. You so bad that it's an actual war to try to get your soul. Don't let it happen. Take control of you by standing in your power, being true to yourself, honest with yourself, showing up for yourself, as yourself, each and every single solitary day. Because listen, I seen somebody say earlier today, you may as well be comfortable in the skin that you in, because it's absolutely illegal to wear somebody else's. Because you're about to take somebody else's skin off, putting it on. I don't want it. So with that being said, make sure you be you, for you, in all places, in all that you do, because at the end of the day, that's all you got. Everybody else who doesn't like it, they can fall off, go off, or whatever they want to do, because everything that's aligned to you will come. You will never be lonely too long. I love y'all. Make sure that y'all stay true to yourself, love on yourself, give yourself all of the love, compassion, and care that you desire from everybody else, because that's the only way you can truly attract it to yourself. Let's see what we got going on. We got a full moon coming up, full moon in Pisces. Woo! Lots of emotions. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of you could be feeling yourself breaking free from old stagnant behaviors, toxic connections, karmic connections, things that have held you back. You could be finding yourself finally getting the strength and the courage to be like, you know what? Okay, I can't get my new up in here without getting rid of the old. So, perception, right? I love that, that's a good one. So, perception. People got the perception of new, right? They make the perception of new. They go out and they might get a new refrigerator, right? That's what's in front of them, refrigerator. They go out and get a new refrigerator. But when they move out the old refrigerator, they don't sweep under there, they don't mop under there, they don't wipe down the wall or nothing. They just move that old refrigerator out, put a new refrigerator in there, and then it gives the perception of a new refrigerator, but in reality it's on a dirty, faulty floor and a dirty wall, and so you can't see that unless you come in and move the refrigerator, right? So it's time for you to move the refrigerators around in your circumstances. Move around things and understand and see where have you not cleaned up, where you have remnants of old relationships, remnants of things that people said of you said to you as a child, things that people have said about you, things that you have said about yourself. Let those old things go so that you can make way for the new greater version of yourself. I am the Police Saint, and I hope that this message right here helps somebody to remember that everything else outside of how God sees you is secondary to unnecessary. I love you. Make sure that you are loving yourself the way that you require to be. Go out today. This is Big Kid Sunday. Find something to do. It's like a little challenge, you know what I'm saying? Today, it looked like I might can get me a little bit ride on my scooter, so I think I'm going to head out and do that because I've done some meditating and clients and stuff today. And so my morning has been full. And so with that being said, I'm going to go out and give me a little bit of air, get a breeze on me before the raindrops start falling, because I don't know how my electric scooter will handle the rain. I don't want to be able to get electrocuted. I love y'all. Make sure that you take some note this week and ask yourself critically, is the perception of me true? Okay, so what I present to others, is it the true me? And if it's not, then I need to get there. What? Because if my thoughts and my heart could be seen, if it's ugly, I need to do some change. And I love y'all. Make sure that you love yourself as much as I love you. Peace and wellness.